Hey everybody, Sean here for BoredParacord. Today we're going to make this easy cinch paracord bracelet. And you can see by the name, all you do to tighten this bracelet, this will slide right on my hand, and then you can tighten it up simply by pulling these two cords and cinching it tight. I have about 8 feet of Acid Midnight Blue, which is just a dark navy blue color paracord, and about 3.5 feet of neon yellow. This is going to be our inner strands and our cinch mechanism, which is super easy. And then I have 8 feet for a 7-inch bracelet. I know that's a little bit more than what you calculate normally, but I always like having a little bit more than I need. So let's go ahead and get started. So we have the blue we're just going to set aside for a minute. Now the yellow, go ahead and put your two ends together, just like this. Pull the slack through. I'm going to try and darken this just a little so that you can see the yellow. There we go. Once you have the center point, what I'm going to do, grab a fid, you can use a pencil, anything round. Basically you're just going to take the center point, fold it over so that you have a loop here, fold it over, now just reach through the loop and pull everything through. So you should have, we've done this before. This is the cow's hitch. Cow's hitch knot, just like that. Let's zoom in on that. Once you have your cow's hitch, go ahead and slide the fid out. And you have basically 2 loops. So put those 2 loops together and then pull this piece down to make these loops a little bit bigger, just like that. Now once you have this a little bit bigger, you're going to take your right cord that's coming out the right side of this loop, and you're going to take the end of it and run it through both loops, just like that, and you're creating a bigger loop. This is going to be your bracelet right here, this shape right here. Let me get this so we can see what we're doing here. There we go. Now take your left cord and you're going to do the same thing on the left side. Just run it through both loops. See, we're going through both of these loops here. And pull it through. This is going to be the same size, roughly, as the other side. So now you've got something that you should have looking like this. Very simple to do. Now once we have this, go ahead and grab all 4 cords. So you got your 2 working ends, the left, the right, and your 2 center strands. Grab all 4 of those and pull that tight. Pull both sides so that this cow's hitch tightens up. Just like that. And this is where I like to put this on my wrist because we need to make a couple marks here. So I'm going to tighten up this cow's hitch just a little, just so it's nice and snug, so that everything kind of stays in place. I'm going to slide this over my hand till I get to the widest portion of my hand. I might have to loosen this up just a little. And you want to make sure that these are exactly the same size. Both of these loops here, these bigger ones. Now once you get to the widest portion of your hand, you're going to make a mark on these paracords. And this is still a little too tight, so I'm going to cinch this up just a little looser. Just by pulling each cord through here. There we go. And there we go. Okay, that's nice and loose. You want to make sure you can get a finger in here also, because you're going to need that little extra space there. Now, with a pen, you've got your 2 working ends. You got one here and one coming off here. You just want to make a mark. Oh, if my pen works. Yep, there it goes. You want to make a mark right there where the working end goes into the knot. Let me focus in on this for you. I think that's focused. And so this is the working end coming off, and then you have another working end coming off here. You want to put a mark right here too, right where it meets the knot. And that's going to be like the biggest. I gotta make sure this pen is working. Hold on one second. Okay, there we go. You want to make sure that your knot or your mark is right next to the knot, and then you can actually see it. Okay, there we go. So I have 2 marks, one there, one there. basically what this is going to do is going to make it so that we know where to tie our knots at the very end. It's always kind of pre-sizing it. Now the other thing we need to do is slide the bracelet all the way on and then tighten it. You're going to tighten this down with your working ends. So go ahead and pull your working ends through and make sure you leave a little bit of room so that you can do your weave. So get a couple fingers in there. I would say 2 fingers to be on the safe side. And then also mark that spot, because this is going to be the spot where you start your weave. Okay, I've got a mark there, and I've got a mark there. So each working end you should have 2 marks. So I have one here, and one here, and one here, and it's kind of hard to see, but I also have a mark right there. And then slide this bracelet back off. And when you loosen this up, you should be able to slide it right to your mark there and there, and that should slide right off. Okay, so I think we're good now. So, and then we have our 2 marks here. There we go. Just trying to make sure this is focused for you guys and gals. Okay, so this is our mark to where we need to tighten this to. So we're going to tighten that one to there, because that mark cinched up to that spot there. And then this other one, we're going to do the same thing, cinch it up to that mark there. Now once you have this all cinched up to your marks, you can go ahead and start tying your Cobra weave. And I like to do it with the cow's hitch up, and you start your weave on this side. It's really personal preference. So let's go ahead and get started. So I have my, I think 8 feet, maybe 7 feet, I can't remember, but you're going to want to do about 1 inch for every inch that you measure on your wrist. Sorry, I'm off camera getting a knot out of this cord. For every inch that you measure your wrist, you want to do 1 foot of cord. So I put my 2 ends together. I'm just pulling all the cord through my fingers until we get our center point here. Once you have your center point, what you're going to do is hold it, come back a little bit further, and then put it to the back side of the bracelet, right up against that cow's hitch there. So my center point is right there. Now I take your right cord over the 2 center cords and create a loop on the right, this little loop here, while you're holding the center point here. Now it's kind of hard to do without a buckle, but it's not too bad. Now take your left cord, place it over the one that you just brought to the left, take it around the back and up through the loop, just like that, and pull this tight. And you can pull it tight down here, it doesn't matter. You're going to slide this up just like that, and pull it tight. Keep cinching it up, make sure it's all the way up against that cow's hitch right there. Now the cord that goes over to the left is always going to go over top of these center strands. So it's basically going to do this S shape all the way around. And this one is going to do the S shape all the way around behind it. And now those 2 are going to interlock with each other. So with the one that's on the left, start with that one, bring it back over the middle, do part of your S shape there, take your right cord over it, go behind the 2 middle strands, and bring that through the loop on the left that you created, and tie it tight. Now the nice thing about doing 2 colors here, or a bright color in the middle, is that you get this kind of like diamond, or not diamond, but a triangle shape. And I just accidentally loosened this, so I need to tighten this back up to my mark. Find my mark there. Alright, there's one. And see, this might happen to you too, so Oh, and there's my other mark there. So we're just gonna pull that back to the mark. Make sure my cow's hitch is tight. And there we go. Yeah, what happened was I was trying to cinch this a little too hard and I ended up pulling too much slack through. Alright, so you see that little triangle there? You're going to end up with a whole bunch of triangles that show through because you have a bright color on the back or inside. So we look and see which cord came over the top, and it came out this way, so you know that this is your top cord. Create that loop, take your left cord over it, go around the back, and bring it through the loop and tighten it. Go ahead and tighten that, cinch it up. And you want to make sure that you're staying flat with the inner cords. So you have your inner cords that are flat, but then you also have your weave. You want those two to be flat against each other. It was like this, it was a little twisted in there, so I just untwisted it. And cinch it up. And we're coming off to the left this time, so we know that that's our over cord. Take that over the center, right cord over that one, behind the back and through. Now you're just going to keep doing this all the way around. So as you're going, this is going to start to turn. It's going to start to turn this way, and you're going to end up at the very end here. Once you get there, I'll give you a little more instruction on how to finish this bracelet up, because we've got a couple things we got to do when we get to that point. So I'll do a couple more here real quick. You can see how fast this can be done. Most people that have been doing paracord for a while, they can do this with their eyes closed. It's pretty, this is the most basic design that you can do. Alright, so I'm going to finish this up. I'm going to get to the end here, and then I'll be back to show you how to finish off this bracelet. Okay, so as you can see, I've already worked this all the way down, and I'm getting pretty close to the end here, so I'm just going to finish this up. And you want to make sure that this is that you have this cinched up all the way, so that you work this right to the cow's hitch here. So just got a couple more here, and you can see I almost ran out of paracord, so you just want to make sure that you have enough cord. So always go couple feet longer than you think you need, because you just never know sometimes. I'm going to be right at the edge of this paracord when I'm done here. So we cut it real close on this one. So I'm going to do a couple more. So here's one. I'm going to do one more just to make sure it's nice and tight and snugging against that cow's hitch. So you just want to make sure you place it in there. Yeah, I don't think I could have done one more, so we did that. Came a little too close on that one. There we go. Alright, pull that nice and tight. Now I'm going to go ahead and make my cuts here. Make sure you have a nice pair of sharp scissors. These are great. These are on the website. Super sharp scissors. But like any scissors, all scissors will go dull after a little while, but at least these started out nice and sharp. Go ahead and get this melted right next to the paracord. You don't want to melt all the paracord around it. Grab your smoothing tool and just kind of rock it over top, and that will give you a nice smooth edge that won't harm your skin at all. Alright, and we'll do the same thing on this other side here. We're just cutting it extremely close to the bracelet. Just like that, and then take your torch lighter. This is called the Futuristic torch lighter just because it has a, I don't know, I thought it had a futuristic look to it compared to all the other ones out there. And grab the smoothing tool, and then a rocking motion, kind of a circular rocking motion. Just smooth that over. Got kind of a hard edge there. It seemed to have stuck a little bit to that smoothing tool, so I'm just going to reheat that just slightly and do it again, and that took care of that. Alright, so I already tied one knot here, and I tied it right up against the mark, so the mark is right there. You want to cover the mark just barely, and remember, this is the longest point and this is the mark for the inside part of it. So you have 2 marks per cord. This is the outermost mark. And we'll do the same thing with this one. And all I did was did an overhand knot. You're just going to create a loop and take the cord in through that loop. So it kind of looks like a pretzel. And then pull this tight, and you want to cinch this down to right where the mark is and just barely cover that mark, because you want this cord to stop at that mark. Let me turn it this way, maybe a little easier for me to see. There we go. So once you're at that mark, go ahead and cinch this cord down and then pull it back over top of the mark. See, it's barely visible right there. I hope you can see that. I think you can. Yeah, right there's my mark. So we're going to cover that. And the same way that we cut and melted the ends here, we're going to do to these ends as well. So I just want to check my spot, make sure I'm just at that mark. Go ahead and cut these right at the edge. And I'll show you another thing you can do with this too, if you don't want to do it right at this edge. Now you want to do this nice and slow. If you're using a bright color, just do a slow melt. That way you don't get a big burn spot there. It kind of stays the same color almost. I'm just going real slow. It's melting, but it's not going to turn black. There we go. That's about as far as I want to go. And before it dries, go ahead and get a smoothing tool on there so it kind of clamps everything in there. And I think you can see pretty good there. Yep, we're nice and focused there. Okay, so let's do the same thing to this other side. Now the other thing that I was going to show you was, let's just say our knot is right here. You can cut this here, and if you have your knot here, this will go ahead and over time will fray out. You can kind of get it to fray out just by doing this, rolling it a few times, but you can see it starts to fray a little bit like that. Now if you go this method, you're going to want to put a couple drops of super glue on your knot so that the knot doesn't This isn't a very tight knot, so what you do is put a couple of drops of super glue there to hold it together, and then this can fray out, and it'll go right up against the knot, nice and frayed. We're not going to do that on this one though. I don't have any super glue sitting here, so cut this right up against the knot. Melt this nice and slow. Right about there, I think. That looks good. And hurry up and get your smoothing tool on there so you can lock it in. Alright, now when you want to open this bracelet, you just pull this back. You can pull these just like that, and then you can slide your hand in there. And if I did this right, I should be able to slide this on. Might be a little tough to get on, but that's fine. That's what you're trying to get to. There we go. So that's on there, and then you can pull one at a time to tighten this up. And that gives you a nice tight fit. These can get tucked under if you don't like them hanging out there. Pretty nice looking bracelet. I hope you like this. This is called the Easy Cinch Paracord Bracelet. It'll be posted on Paracord On, Facebook group for all things Paracord. Don't forget to check that out. It's called, I just said it, Paracord On. It's facebook.com/groups/Paracord On, and we'll get you in there as soon as we see your name pop up. We'll get you right in. Thanks again for watching. Really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button too. That really helps the channel out, and I appreciate it very much. So thanks again for watching, and until next time, Paracord On. Do me a quick favor and hit that subscribe button to your left. There's other great videos all the time, and there's a few to the right side of the screen, and you can also buy Paracord at our site with the link at the bottom left. Thank you again for watching.